Hi, hello everybody, I am Cow Chicken, and welcome back to a very late video. I definitely haven't, skipped the last 3 months, no. Anyway, I, am here to be planning to revamp my very first story. It was when we were about, 8, and I do say we because me and my brother were working together to make this story. So it is a bit convoluted and a bit weird, but this is, I don't even remember the name, this is my stuffed animal story. So let's get into the artwork. We're going to be doing 3 of the characters, and I'm going to be doing a full picture at the end. This is Loboko. He wasn't the main character, but after my brother got my main stuffed animal lost, I think this was his son, and this is Loboko. I mostly remember the last chapter of the story. It's the most recent, and Loboko was one of the main benefactors of this. I think he was actually powerless. Either way, it was like this fantasy high-tech world where, not high-tech, but we had basically our dogs were like the god. Yeah, I think they were gods. We were like, oh, this is the god of chaos, the god of space, which is my brother's dog Bone, who is still with us, thankfully. And I don't remember what Jasper was, but either way, I got this stuffed animal for my birthday, and I actually got 2 of them. The other one's Boo, who will not be in this print or the next print, sadly. But she was actually one of the original ones I tried to do a couple of years ago now, and it looked really bad. I wish it looked better, but Loboko, after my dog, aka what in this story is called dubbed the God of Chaos, which I think was the final boss. No, somebody killed. Okay, so we had this nerd that could open up. It has Santa Claus hat on top. You put a red ball on it, and it was, I think we named him Snowball. Really stupid name, but he was the final boss because I think he killed the God of Chaos. I think we put that into the story since he wasn't around no more, so we were just like, oh, how do we put this into the story? But basically, Loboko had a giant chunk in his side. So fun fact about him, he's the only one that has a brain and a heart, and his brain is a crumpled up piece of math paper, and his heart is one of those dish soap tabs. Either way, this is Loboko. I tried to give him more of an older look, so he would look more. Because how I view him, he's 30 in his 30s or 50s. I wanted to give him roughly the same color scheme. Also, all my stuffed animals had mustaches. I did not put that into the design because I didn't really know how to do that. Also, my style is not very good for mustaches, and I really need to figure out how to draw mustaches without the mouth being lost. But I did try to get that, because he has layers. Loboko, the actual stuffed animal, has layers. So I tried to do some of the layers in his outfit, which is why he has a white button-up over a dark turtleneck with a jacket over top. I did a very brown colors because he's a wolf. I don't know what type of wolf. I wish I kept the keychain. But this is Loboko. I gave him little gray hairs. Now we're on to Pipper. He was actually my favorite. If anyone was dubbed the main character, I think it would be him. Although there was a million damn characters in this game. But either way, this is Pipper. He is a Arctic fox, I believe. He had him and his brother, which is going to be coming up next. They were both adopted by Loboko, and so he was you would always see these 3 together, and if anything happened, also Loboko never talked. I think that was very important. So these 2 were they could understand him, and they would correlate it with other people, so when they got scolded and stuff, but Loboko would never actually open up his mouth. But Pipper was very outgoing. He was the one that was doing a lot of stuff. He's very I just realized, my main character in my comic I'm going to be making. He's very much like Strawberry in the way that he's very open about his opinions. He will fight you, and he's very loud, counteracted to his brother over there. For his outfit, I feel bad. I gave them all basic jeans, but in his original outfit he had little patches. But I had such a hard time drawing this, I gave up, especially since the quality isn't that good. But you could tell he's a fox because he has gloves. I always do that exact style for gloves for any fox character. It's good, you know, don't fix what ain't broke. He has that jacket, and he has these little, like, goggles, so he looks very much like a fighter. Fighter-like guy? I don't know what they're called. I'm screwing up. I had a hard time with his hair. I didn't know if I should do, like, light or dark, but I settled on this, like, light blue with, like, frosted tips, I guess, because, you know, Frost, he's an Arctic fox. Other than that, I gave him, like, fur on his jacket to pull in the Arctic look, and I made his jeans dark to tie in with the gloves. Okay, now we're moving on to Cody. Cody was, sadly, the last one I did, so I really did kind of give up on him. Although, he was also the last one I designed, so... But I don't hate his design. I did try to give him a little hat, like a little beanie that had these very long side parts to represent his ears that he has, because he has really big floppy ears. I think the hardest thing about doing all these designs was trying to put in their animal counterparts into this design. I did, if you remember on Loboco, he had this like little black hole belt, because I tried to put in space elements since they weren't like more very spacey, going through time and dimension. I couldn't figure out how to incorporate that for like anyone. Like I said, this story is there's not any flow to it. I just remember there was a lot of battles. They had powers, but some didn't, and some didn't make sense. Like I said, it's been a while, so I don't actually remember a lot of the stuff that happened. But I do remember that Cody, he had his mustache ripped off, so that's why he doesn't have a mustache, because I thought it looked ugly on him. But I didn't actually like Cody all that much, so I didn't play with him as much as the other ones. So he was just kind of there. But since I was thinking of him more as like the shy, less one, I gave him these really baggy bangs that cover his face, and I gave him like a jacket to more very like big jacket, I would guess, to more go into the more like shy, less outspoken. Again, I was just trying to get the colors to look right, because I tend to have this thing where all the colors mesh too well together and look very similar in value, so I was trying to get some of that out. Yeah. So this is Cody, not much about it. Although, I didn't put Pippa's friendship bracelet on. They're supposed to have friendship bracelets. Whoops. Going on to the final big picture for this video, I do want to give some more feedback on the story, and just want to say, just because the story has infinitely no plot, please don't be, don't mean to me. I was baby when I made this. I think I was like Fern, my brother was 6, and it lasted until I was around 11. So it is really old. I don't remember a lot of it, but I do know that the things I do remember are the characters' personalities and how they were like. Although I do have like roughly like 50, or maybe even like maybe more than that, but I did have like 50 characters that were just of mine in this story. So a lot of their personalities seem very similar to each other's, but I made this story kind of like how I make my stories now. I focus on the personalities and let the plot follow. Of course, my stories now aren't being directed by my older brother that we just want to hit stuffed animals and pretend they're fighting and throw them up against the wall. Either way, so this is really old, and I just want to say that a lot of these characters became sort of like my new characters that I have right now. I like them so much that their personalities and traits became subconsciously my new characters. So with Pippa and Cody, they're very similar to two characters I've been working a lot against now since their story finally has a name, and I might make a video about it because I really love them. Shota and Shin. Shota. Ugh. He looks like Shota, but Shin and Callus. Callus is a angel that can't fly, and Shin is a vampire, and they both have to figure out how to get past the persecution of their world, because where they're at, dark creatures with very heavy quotation marks, like vampires, are very looked down upon, and they've been trying to get like executed. So Shin is very like the shy, very much like Cody, where he's very shy, very timid, very soft-spoken, doesn't speak out a lot, while Shota is the more peppy and outgoing. I keep saying Shota, I'm so sorry. Callus is the more peppy and outgoing one, which is very similar to Shota, and Shota looks very similar to Pipper since they both have very similar color schemes, but Shota is a blue bird. While Callus is a very outgoing one who has to face persecution of their small town because they've been persecuted by the angels for so long for being dark creatures. So I put these guys into that story almost subconsciously. I've done it with, I think, most of my characters. This old guy named Alexander, and he turned into a Jason. Mostly his design, not a lot of his personality, but his design. So I keep using these bunch of old characters and character concepts and turning them into new characters without even really realizing it. And Loboko is just Loboko. He's actually, since he is my favorite, I love him so much. He used to be my pillow for the longest time. He is just always himself. I don't think I've turned him, sadly, into a new character yet. And if he has, he's been sprinkled here and there, many places. But yeah, this story is very nice because it reminds me of, I guess, a time much simpler than now, where my only problem was stuffed animals fighting each other, and cause we did like big tournaments, like who would win now. And one of the characters from the next part of this keeps dying in every single one. But yeah, I have done this 3 times now. First was, traditionally before I got my drawing tablet, was Boo, which is this little Pomeranian. She's really cute. And I tried to make her, like I said originally in this video, it looked absolutely terrible when I printed. I didn't do it. I also did this cheetah that I have, who is brilliantly dubbed Cheetah. Cheaty. Yeah, I just named I put a Y at the end. Cheaty. I've done him twice now. One was an unfinished traditional thing, right when I was doing Boo. The other one is an unfinished digital thing, right when I was doing my other character that's also brilliantly named, who's a fox, dubbed Foxy. I did him. I'm thinking of redoing them because I don't like them, but at the same time, there's so many of these guys, and if I tried to do all of them, I think I would actually burn myself out. But Foxy was actually made by my mom's, and his head keeps falling off, womp womp, but he's very special to me, so I really want to make sure that it's not, like, absolutely garbage when I design him. But yeah, I have tried this 3 times now. And the video that you're going to be seeing on screen, I have gone with, I had multiple different options, but I decided to go with a picnic theme since I've been drawing a lot of cornucopia lately for backgrounds and to try and actually get the story done because I have to get it done in less than in 2 months, which is a bit scary because I don't have any of the comic parts actually done, so I've been trying to get a lot of the backgrounds done. And it's the only thing I could really think of, so I am over here drawing them at a little picnic table. It's insanely hard just trying to do a picnic table with only 3 characters. I think that was the hardest. I'm usually doing like 4 to 5, or if I'm doing 3 characters, I know, I usually only do like 2 to 4 to 5. I don't really do 3 characters in a piece, so I think that was the most difficult. But I think it turns out pretty good. Oh, I am way over time. Now that you made it to the end of the video, I'm going to show you some little sneak peeks. This is the actual designs for them that I designed on paper, just so you can show that I can actually, in fact, draw. Either way, let's get over to the sneak peek of Magical Girls. Hopefully this will actually be out in a little while or so, but here's some little sneak peeks of what these Magical Girls look like, mostly just some rough sketches. But yeah, you've made it to the end of this video. Have fun, listen to the music.